Hey everyone, welcome to K-Beauty and the Beast, the podcast on the business side of K-Beauty. For this episode, I am joined by e-commerce expert Pohim, where we discuss the topic K-Beauty plus Amazon equals ? In our conversation, we covered the importance of Amazon for K-Beauty brands that want to succeed internationally, the increasing significance of TikTok Shop for e-commerce sales, why a brand's own D2C website is becoming less of a priority, and we also cover other e-commerce channels and regions that are relevant for the growth of K-Beauty abroad. Now over to my conversation with Pohim. Enjoy. Pohim, thank you for joining me in person. I really appreciate it. Are you ready?
Let's go.
Perfect. Let's get started. So what is your K-Beauty story? Where are you from and how did you end up in the beauty industry in Seoul?
Hi, Michael. Thanks for having me. I come from France and I've been in Korea for 13 years now. I started my journey in K-Beauty through a website. I was in the very early wave of K-Beauty, like 13 years ago. The reason why I got into K-Beauty actually is because of my wife. One day I came to visit her in Korea and then I saw all these beauty shops in Myeongdong, etc. And then I went back to Hong Kong and I saw the exact same names like Misha, etc. When you were looking at the price back then, the price were already twice as much. It was like the prices in Korea was very cheap at the time, and in Hong Kong it was already double. And with my French background, I was like, okay, if it's already double from Korea to Hong Kong, then in France it should be like 3 or 4 times more. And that's how I saw the opportunity to develop my own website back then. I ran that website 7 years with my wife, and we managed to reach 1 million in sales. That was incredible. Just a 2-person website managing to reach like 1 million in sales. After 7 years, we kind of burnt out a little bit. So we sold the website. And then now me and my wife, we both have different careers in K-Beauty. So I work for several brands and companies such as Wish Company, XSY, etc. And I also created one of the most successful influencer community in Korea, which is newly launched. And nowadays I'm working in global e-commerce, helping beauty brands expand to marketplaces such as Amazon, TikTok Shop, etc.
So you have a really strong background from a long time back in K-Beauty and bringing K-Beauty to the world. So right now you work on e-commerce, Amazon, and you worked in influencer marketing. I just have a question about like back then when you ran your own website, what were the main channels? Did you have Amazon? Was that a big thing back then? Or did you use ads, organic? What was the main thing for driving sales then?
Back then, it was mainly websites. It was mainly SEO, like really understanding how people were looking for the beauty brands on Google. The market really changed drastically. Now there are main players like Amazon, TikTok Shop. The consumer behavior really changed over time. And even the consumption of information, now everything is so much more accessible. I had to evolve my game over time from just knowing about SEO to knowing about the marketplaces to knowing about the content, like really figuring out where people get their information to the source and then optimize the sales funnel. So yeah, nowadays the game is really Amazon, TikTok Shop. That's where the game is.
Amazon is really the topic of today. We're going to talk about TikTok Shop a bit later, but let's start with Amazon. The topic of the episode is Amazon plus K-Beauty equals ? If I ask you Amazon plus K-Beauty equals ? what is your answer?
I would say sales. That's where the sales happen nowadays. And like you can see the strong numbers and the strong result from Amazon. More and more people are just buying from Amazon. So sales is definitely one of the key reasons why K-Beauty brands will want to go into Amazon. I do believe that Amazon is also becoming a sort of reference. It's like if your brand is not on Amazon or if your brand is not performing on Amazon, then you are considered as not successful enough.
So for brands that are looking to succeed globally, but especially in the US, if you're not on Amazon, you have to be on Amazon first as a reference for the retailers or other channels to be successful in the US with K-Beauty sales.
Right. I would say like the main virality effect always come from the US. It's like you can be successful in other regions, but it will not spread to the world. But if you are successful in the US, all the other markets globally are open to you. It's like the buyers, distributors, retailers, will all come to you because of your performance in the US. You can be very successful in Europe, but nobody will have heard of you in other regions. So that's why having a good presence in in the US, it's so critical for the brand's global expansion. And Amazon is definitely one of the platforms that all the brands, buyers, etc., they will look at.
Amazon plus K-Beauty equals sales and also a reference point, a starting point. If you want to grow globally, you have to be there. So it's essential to be on Amazon for K-Beauty for global growth. If you think you're ready or want to get started on Amazon as a K-Beauty brand, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see? And how could we prepare better to avoid those mistakes when starting sales on Amazon?
So I've seen a lot of brands wanting to get on Amazon with zero strategy and zero understanding of the actual platform itself. They just consider it as a listing or a marketplace, but it's really so much more strategic than that. They need to consider all the logistics, the fees, the hidden fees on top of that, and consider financial aspect, but also marketing aspect. So like financial aspect is most companies, they will not think or they don't understand what are the fees involved into selling on Amazon. Like there is the refund fees, referral fees, the actual FBA fees, platform fees, the referral, like so many different sort of fees that are not easy to understand unless you start selling. Brands, when they start selling, they usually make a mistake on that. They start from the wrong pricing, and then after that, you can't change that easily. So for brands, I would recommend them to have someone who is good at Amazon and not try to get on Amazon just for the sake of getting on Amazon. They really need to plan ahead financially and have a good strategy to really grow on Amazon. It has to be more intentional and need someone who can do it.
So essentially, you can't just list on Amazon and think that sales are going to magically happen. You have to prepare, and it's probably much more expensive to have success than you think it is. You need to prepare a lot of budget, not just for marketing, but also costs for logistics, FBA, everything. Yeah,
absolutely. To rebound on that, actually, yes. Everyone can list their product on Amazon, but there are so many brands that want attention, and you are not only competing with K-Beauty, you are also competing with Chinese brands that are trying to get on it. You are competing with European brands that are also trying to get on it. So just listing is not enough. Performance marketing and ads is really the starting point. We're going to talk more actually onto the strategies and how to actually get onto it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's dig more into the details of the tactical aspect of being there. Well, the first thing I want to ask is how important are the reviews and the ratings, and how do you go about getting reviews and ratings in a way that is both compliant with the rules of Amazon and also effective for long-term growth?
So reviews is one of the most important things, but it's also one of the hardest to get, because you can't play the system. If Amazon catch you trying to buy the reviews, you're going to get penalized, so it's not worth the risk. The only way you can actually get reviews is organically. You need to hope that your customers will buy and leave positive reviews. There is also the Vines program, which is free, but it's very limited. It's only a couple of dozens of reviews that you can get, so that's not a long-term planning for that. Your only way is just to have a good product and make sure that your customers are happy so that you can get better reviews.
There's no way to work with influencers to do it in a way that is compliant, but still you get reviews a bit quicker than just having a good product.
Very risky to try to game the system.
Yeah,
it's very risky because as soon as you are flagged, there is no going back.
No,
the system will delete the reviews and you will get penalized too. So is it worth the risk?
Maybe not. If Amazon is the most important sales platform, you don't want to get punished there. Definitely try to stay within the rules.
And the customer service, Seller Central, etc., they do not help at all.
No.
So if you are stuck on Amazon, you are stuck on a feedback loop with no solutions. Like you don't have access to a manager or a supervisor to help you out. You are fighting the system, and the system is not in your favor. No. So better play the rules, play the game by the rules, and just grow organically and really safely.
Follow the rules. Amazon is much bigger than you, so that's the reviews. Next thing is in terms of advertising. What is Amazon advertising? Why is it important? And in broad strokes, what does a good Amazon ad strategy look like?
Amazon ad is so much more technical than people can think about it. When you are not really into Amazon ads, you can think of it as one ad platform. But in fact, Amazon ads is broken down into so many different displays and approaches. You might have heard of sponsored products, sponsored brand, sponsored display. All of those are different places where your ads are going to be shown to the customers. For example, whenever you go on Amazon, you start searching, you will see that there are some banners at the top, there are some banners on the product pages, under the comments, etc. So all of these different areas are actually different ads placements. And all of them have different strategies too, because that means the customers will see you in a different ways. For the ad strategy, you really need to first think about your budget. What do you want to do with the budget? Do you want more sales or more brand awareness? Depending on that, you can already kind of define if you want to do sponsored product type of ads, sponsored displays, or sponsored brands. After that, we have to dive deeper into the competitors' landscape, because you are not just fighting for the spot, you are fighting for every single keyword on that platform. You need a strong understanding of what you are spending your money on, what are the competitors spending their money on, and how you can kind of gain some competitive advantage based on that.
Very complicated. I have actually dipped my toes a little bit, but I'm not an expert, but I know what you mean when you say it's complicated. So yeah, I would recommend hire an expert, either full-time or freelance, because it's very expensive getting it wrong.
Yeah,
So,
and especially nowadays, like over the last couple of months, I could really see the difference in the price of the keywords. The CPC is really hiking up. For example, when we started in Q1 this year, let's say brightening serum, one of the main keywords for K-beauty. Brightening serum was about $5. Now it's $10. Imagine paying $10 for a click that do not convert. All of the keywords are getting more and more expensive because we're approaching the sales period, etc. So all the brands wants to have their part into that shopping frenzy. So everything is getting more expensive. You really need to have a good understanding of the keywords value. There are so many different keywords that have a lot of search volume, but that are not converting to sales. Once you get into the Amazon data, you start to understand what the data means, what the keyword means. You can have so much information about how you are ranking, how your competitors are ranking, how powerful and how sales-driven is a keyword, or just for discovery or shopping. And then you can really plan ahead with all this information in mind.
so on a limited budget, would you focus on just doing the sponsored products with the sales-driven, very intent-driven keywords? If you
Have limited budget, first I would have to think about what type of keywords I want to attack. So here's the explanation. I categorize the keywords as 3 different types of keywords. There are keywords that are more brand focused, such as my own brand, my name, or my product, very niche to my product. And then there are more general keywords. General keywords can be like Korean skincare or niacinamide, ingredient focused or basic keywords. These keywords are keywords that all the brands are fighting for. And then the third category is the offense keywords, attacking the keywords of the competitors. So based on those, like there are different costs, and you can expect different results based on this categorization. The best result you can get are the defense ones, because it's already you, so you just protect your own territory. The general keywords and the offense keywords are very expensive, but that's your way to expand your market. So that really depends on, even with a limited budget, you might have the goal of wanting to expand the market rather than just making few sales. If the expansion is something that your brand is looking for, then you need to aim for the middle ground, like the general keywords, so that more people can find your product, so that your listing can grow in size and reach. So the question I would ask most founder would be like, in 1 year, where do you want to be on Amazon? If you want to really grow your market size, then you need to expand your listing. If you just protect your own territory, that's your niche, and you will never get beyond.
In terms of budget, I guess it's no right answer for this, but getting started, how much money would you spend per month just to get started?
Realistically, I would say at least few $100 per day. And I would say when I started with off-brand, I started with 10,000 per month. 1 month later, I doubled the budget. 1 month later, I doubled the budget again. And 1 month after, I doubled again. So we went from 10,000 to 80,000 really fast. Like the scaling was immensely rapid, like it was very fast. But the result was also very fast. And we decided to go very aggressive because a bigger market, like Amazon is just a numbers game at the end of the day. It's like a snowballing game. If you are on page 1, you are going to get so much more sales and exposures and visibility. And that's how you get the return on investment, because all the clicks, all the organic traffic will help reduce the spending. So the closer you are to the top, the more money you make. And so the more you can keep on snowballing. That was our strategy, and my CEO was so happy with the outcome. For the smaller brands, I would say take some more time to make sure that we could maximize our spending. Is for the first week of every month, you are going to do some iteration. The goal is just to test. You are going to spend a few $100s to test the keywords that works really well for you. And then on the second week, double down on the one that works and cut down on all the ones that you thought was good, but were not delivering results. And then if you keep on testing, iterating, and scaling the budget for the good performing ones, you will end up with some keywords that drive the results you want.
In the beginning, you would probably either break even or lose a bit of money just to figure out, like you pay for the learning. Well, what kind of return on ad spend do you want to have once you have figured out things to be profitable or happy with the results of the ads?
So when we talk about Amazon ads, it really depends on the longer term perspective. If the short term, let's say 3 to 6 months, you want to grow your market size as much as possible, then you have to expect a lower ROAS and a lower tacos. Like your goal is not to be profitable, your goal is to grow the volume. And Amazon has that very interesting factor. It's like you can either decide on profitability or you can decide on volume. And you have control over that. Once you have a good understanding of the keywords, etc., you can decide like, okay, this month, our goal is really to push the volume. So we are going to spend a lot more into driving these volumes up. The spending on the ads will help your ranking because you get more traction on the listing. Once your ranking goes up, you also get more organic sales. You keep on snowballing that way. And the moment that you decide you want to maximize profitability, then you cut on all these expansion kind of keywords, these campaigns that are meant for volume, and you just focus back on the ones that have a high ROAS. So depending on where you are with your cash flow, company's status and position, you can decide like, okay, we want to focus on volume, higher sales, higher ranking, and play the Amazon game. Or you can just be like, we want to focus on profitability, we want high ROAS, we want to make money without spending money. Both games are okay. It really just depends where your ambition and where your vision is.
We can probably talk about ads all day, but we can move on to the next question. The brand you work for, or do you use Amazon trends or search terms to influence your product strategy, like in developing new products, or your marketing strategy? Do you use data from Amazon to implement new strategies?
In my company, not really, because the products are being made by the R&D team and the marketing team, and I can work magic with whatever you give me anyway, because I can look at all the competitors and then really look at where is our product in that market. Because when you have a product, you are not competing with other brands. You are actually competing with other products in the same category. So this is how I approach every new product. So, and I would say Amazon is very specific to Amazon. The things that work on Amazon might not work on Google or website or Instagram or TikTok. So it's if you want to play the Amazon game, it's an Amazon game. It's keyword focused kind of game.
I have heard about brands that use that strategy to just go to Amazon, find what works. It's a short-term strategy to make money if you get it right, but not really a way to build a brand for long-term.
Right. I've seen some brands and products being very successful on Amazon just by being on Amazon. They don't need any other channels. Literally just focus on Amazon, play the Amazon game because they could identify some high demand product. So they immediately manufacture their own and then start selling this product that has high demand. And that works well. I would not recommend that, honestly, because the moment the hype is gone, then your brand and product are gone as well if you don't have the branding to support that.
Makes sense. So let's move over to pricing. You talked a little bit about pricing already, but Amazon is a hyper-competitive space. Customers are used to getting good deals, but as a brand, you also would make sure that you make money. Right. So how do you see pricing strategy on Amazon for your brand?
It is critical. Honestly, there's no other words. Amazon pricing is one of the most critical aspects. You need to have a pricing that is competitive. People going on Amazon have a high shopping intent. They don't go there just for discovery. They're there with the intent of wanting to buy something, comparing your product directly with other products that meets their needs. So if they see a competitor who is half your price, there's a high chance that will go to them. So pricing is definitely critical, and that's why you really need to look at the market and not just at your own margins. If you can't compete on Amazon, don't get on Amazon.
The brand you work with, they sell other places than just Amazon. Do they have different pricing strategy for Amazon, or is it the same price?
So we have different prices for different regions.
Yeah.
So because SEA, for example, usually have lower prices.
Yep.
But for the North American market, we have the same price for all the different markets.
Yep.
So we already made the calculation for the margins, the ads. We anticipated all the costs that will come from to build up the brand and promote it. So we already know what we can play with. But yes, you need to really be careful about your pricing strategy from the get-go.
There's a lot of sales season, there's Prime Day, these kind of things. When you have those, how much of a bump in sales do you see from those, and what kind of percentages of sales do you give?
That would entirely depend on your margin structure, how much that really depends on your brands, right?
Yep.
I can't really say the number.
You don't need to. You
my
don't need
CEO
to.
might not be too happy,
No worries.
But right now it's Prime.
Yep.
And we could see a bump of 4 times, 5 times the daily sales.
Wow.
But based on what the articles that I was reading about Prime Day, which was extended to 4 days instead of 2, a lot of brands are seeing lower sales spikes for the first 2 days.
Okay.
Overall, since it was extended to 4 days, there's a high chance that overall in July they will see a sales increase. But yeah, sales on Amazon are very, very good. You will see the difference.
Yeah.
You can really see the power of Amazon in terms of sales spikes. That's the reason why I think brands really want to get on Amazon.
You have to be there for those sales days to get your volumes up. Now moving a bit outside or adjacent to the Amazon space, there's ad platforms, Google, Meta, TikTok, where you can buy ads and you decide where to send that traffic. Do you send any traffic from those platforms to your Amazon listings, or do you only send them to your D2C website? So for the listeners, D2C is direct to consumer. If you want to buy CosRX, you go to cosrx.com, buy it there, then you're buying directly from them as a consumer. So yeah, Amazon versus D2C, do you use ads for both of them? What does that look like for you?
I would say the website is definitely getting a lower and lower priority, because a lot of consumers nowadays, they really just go to marketplaces or they discover the product on TikTok and then they just buy it. So the purchasing funnel is completely different than when it was just a website. And in terms of Meta ads, TikTok ads, Google ads, etc., some companies are doing amazingly well with those. But in my case, I can't see if I have to compare with on-platform efforts like Amazon ads or TikTok ads, the difference is not worth it. I can get so much more done on Amazon directly than on Meta ads leading to the Amazon listings, etc. However, TikTok ads is really good. For leads generation, traffic, etc. is really good.
Those TikTok ads, you use them to send traffic to Amazon? For TikTok to Amazon?
Depends. TikTok to Amazon, but also TikTok shop.
TikTok shop, right? We will get more into that soon. But in terms of if you want to grow your sales and have extra budget for ads, you prioritize running on Amazon, maybe some TikTok?
For me, yes, definitely. Yeah. For me, that would be the play. My Amazon strategy actually is the 70-30. 70% of the traffic and lead generation should be coming outside the platform and 30% on the platform, because Amazon ads is getting more and more expensive.
Yep.
So in order to maximize the money that we spend, we really want to drive the traffic from outside to Amazon instead of competing just on a keyword level, which is getting pricey.
What are those other things? Like you have ads, we're going to get into influencer
Exactly.
marketing. You mentioned you have a lot of experience in influencer marketing. Now, Amazon experience plus influencer experience, how do you merge those two to drive sales?
So in order to create the awareness for the brand and the products, that would be influencer marketing. So collaborating with influencers to create very engaging content for your product. And then people will go to Amazon for the purchasing part of the funnel. So all the discovery, all the content, user acquisition happens with the influencer marketing from platforms outside of Amazon, for example, TikTok ads to Amazon. But nowadays, since we open TikTok shop, we can lead the TikTok users directly to a TikTok shop for a faster and more organic conversion, which is TikTok shop is the future, really.
TikTok shop is the future. My question fits perfectly here. Other than Amazon, what other marketplaces and channels are important besides Amazon? Let's start with TikTok shops. Elaborate there.
So our company was really late to onboard on TikTok shop. We are really late. We started this month because we didn't have the documentations, etc., and we didn't have the strategy back then. So now that we are on TikTok shop and the TikTok shop dashboard, the professional dashboard, the seller center, etc., are so informative. Like they give you so much data onto what are the best sellers on TikTok shop right now, what are the trends, what are the best performing creators, what are the best performing affiliates. The difference between creators and affiliates there is content creators, they have different goals. For the affiliates, their goal is really to drive sales. They put the link to your shop for the end conversion. For content creators, a lot of them can be for branding, awareness, viral effect, etc. So it's not direct conversion, but it still contributes to the brand success. So our company are doing both, and I'm especially doing the affiliates part nowadays, which is why I love the TikTok shop dashboard. They give you so much information about how much the creators are making in general, so that you can identify the high potential affiliates, but you can also see the people creating content for you and how much sales conversion happen directly. That allows you as a brand to identify the best creators. Even if they don't create content that goes viral, you can see how much they brought in sales. So you can focus your efforts and spend on these creators that drove sales for you. Now that I started on TikTok shop, it's completely different. And the main difference between Amazon and TikTok shop, Amazon is more like a marketplace, so it's keywords heavy, but TikTok and TikTok shop is really content marketing. It's a content platform. So you have to approach the sales funnel in a totally different way.
It really seems like the perfect place for an e-commerce brand to be. You have a kind of closed ecosystem. You have TikTok shop. People can buy it directly in the app without ever leaving the app.
Exactly. TikTok is so popular, right? Like the younger generation. And actually the fun fact is even the, let's say, middle-aged people up to 40, even the 50s, there are a lot of our customers in that age range.
From TikTok.
So TikTok are not only Gen Zs or whatever, it's like millennials are there, even our generation, etc. Like up to 50s, people are really on TikTok.
It is really the mainstream media, like the vertical phone. It's not just for kids, it's for everyone.
That's where people spend their time on. And as a brand, as an e-commerce, you really want to be where your customers are, right? You can't bring them where they don't want to be. So just identify that, yes, TikTok is one of the platforms that they spend the most time on. So you need to be where they are.
We talked about Amazon, TikTok shop, D2C is kind of getting less priority. It's kind of outside of everything. You have to be where things happen. That's Amazon when people go for shopping and TikTok for entertainment. And then you kind of have most of the shopping surfaces covered, I would say. Beyond that, are there any other marketplaces that are interesting that you work on?
Depending on your region, for example, if you're talking about SEA, then there's Shopee. Right? So it really depends on your own region as well. But globally, I would say yes, it's Amazon and TikTok for now.
So that was actually my next question, is about regions and countries. For the US, definitely Amazon, TikTok. Southeast Asia, it's Shopee, maybe Lazada.
Exactly.
Europe, there's Amazon, eBay. China is a completely different beast.
China, I don't know much about China.
So that's the different beast that you have to have a completely different strategy for. But going from Korea abroad, I guess a lot of brands have found success in Southeast Asia. So Shopee, Lazada makes sense there. The US is where you go before you go to Europe, probably to get that reference point from Amazon sales in the US.
Shopee and Lazada are actually very, very competitive. It's all about price. I'm glad the US is a tiny bit less aggressive on that part, because on SCA market, the margin is razor thin.
Yeah.
Because of the purchasing power, etc. Like, it's not so much about branding, it's really about your price.
Yeah, so Southeast Asia, it's a tough market. It's better to go to the US, Amazon, better margins.
Expensive,
yeah.
But you can also make more money.
Yeah.
Because you have higher, if you set your pricing right, then you have higher margins.
And then K-beauty is popular in the US, but it's very early stages in terms of the potential of K-beauty.
Right.
Yeah.
Two of the new markets that are really growing and exploding, literally, it's the European market and Latin market. And we got this information from Style Korean and YesStyle. They have seen the growth in these two regions explode. Like, they're really going so fast. And then the CIS and MENA are also very strong markets. So those, for the newer brands, are definitely worth exploring. Not just the US market, but Latin America, Europe, MENA, like Middle East region, and CIS, like the Russian, etc. region.
So there are definitely different regions for different brands where they can grow.
Absolutely.
So very interesting. I think that's enough for our conversation. It's been very educational. I hope for everyone. For me, it's been very educational. If anyone has any questions for you or want to reach out to you for discussions about Amazon, TikTok, e-commerce in general, what's the best way to reach out to you?
I will give my email to Mikkel so that you can look at the description down below, and feel free to reach out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Pohim, for joining me today in person. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Mikkel. It was a good talk.